Hello, I'm Michelle M. Trey Hollis with 5 Star Conversations in the Sun City. And before we begin, I want to say this clearly. If you are listening to this and you've ever felt dismissed, minimized, or unheard in a medical space, there is nothing wrong with you. There are so many women who are told that their labs are normal while their bodies feel unfamiliar, exhausted, foggy, or emotionally heavy. I know that one. I'm sure you do too. Women who are juggling work, family, caregiving, and life, quietly wondering when they stopped feeling like themselves. For many women, especially in midlife, this experience isn't just frustrating, it can be deeply invalidating. And over time, that dismissal can create shame, self-doubt, and even fear of speaking up again. Today's conversation is meant to be a different kind of space for you, one that's rooted in safety, compassion, and in truth. So I am so honored to be joined by Dr. Shakeeka Misher, a women's health nurse practitioner with over 18 years of experience and someone who understands this journey not only clinically, but personally. Dr. Misher's work is about helping women trust their bodies again, find their voice in healthcare spaces, and move away from pushing through symptoms to actually being supported. So let's welcome on Dr. Misher. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for the invite. This is exciting and such a topic that's near and dear to my heart. And the more we know, the more we're able to grow and share with others. So it's a conversation that's so ready to be had for sure.
Absolutely. And especially when it comes to as we're getting older and, as a woman who is not a spring chicken anymore. I know I look like it, no. but I'm not. But and it's like also not just for me, but also for my mom, my aunts, my people that still have grandparents. I feel like this is gonna grandmothers. I feel like this is going to be a really great conversation so that we can maybe kind of understand some of what they're going through, maybe some of the ways that we can help support them perhaps, and also start early taking care of ourselves so that we can, have a healthy aging process as we go along. So I couldn't be more ready and excited for this conversation, Dr. Misher. So thank you so much. So let's begin gently. Why do you think so many women feel disconnected from their bodies during midlife and even when they're told that everything is looking normal? Can you please let us know your perspective on this?
Yes, sometimes we can get into the mundane. Oh, we're pushing through. We've got to keep going through that. And we need to identify and understand the difference between what's normal doesn't mean what's optimal or what's best for you. With it, we can get along with me. Somebody asks you, like, how you doing? I'm fine. And things from it. You could have the whole world crashing down on you, but you've got your
sometimes. I do sometimes.
I'm fine. With it. And, we could be going to our provider visits and we could have a list, but we could be sitting in there for a while, or we also have to, an end point where we got to pick up kids or we've got other family or get back to our job. So we limit what we share. And I've done that myself, even with as a nurse, and now as a provider. I can know X, Y, and Z is going on with me, but if I'm down, I've already been sitting there and I got 5 minutes. Okay, let me pick my top 2 things. I'm from it. Maybe my top one. Everything else get left off the table from that. And then we feel that, okay, I did fine. Like, I'm doing all right. Like, I felt this, but let me just continue to push through. And that becomes to be on the back burner. I'm with it.
Yeah.
I've also learned that if I don't speak up from it, my provider may not always speak up. They can't read our minds from it.
That's
we
right.
Can't read their minds. So we're both waiting on each other to bring this topic and with it. And you bring in that key component of family members of it's a community from it.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah. Bring someone to advocate with you too.
Yes. Bring somebody to advocate with you from it, whether it's a telehealth visit, whether it's in person. Because truthfully, like when you get in there, like you can get anxious, like I'm tired, like do I want to talk about this with it, and you can forget things. So other people will be in there with
Yeah.
you, especially within that comfort zone with you that kind of know you day in and out. Because okay, Michelle, this is what's going on with me today. And this and you and
Hmm.
Michelle kept track, like, hey, she done said that 3 or 4 times. Let's do something about it. But I may forget about it when I go into that appointment. So it's important to have that comfort zone of knowing like, hey, this is guys
Mm.
that can advocate for me when I'm, don't remember or unable to speak up for myself.
I love that too. And that brings another great point too is, maybe as you're going through certain situations and it's something that is more, maybe something that's going on for more than a day or two, it might be great to jot that down. Because sometimes you might get to your providers, you get to your appointment and it seems to always happen when you get there, all of a sudden you feel better. You're like, what, and you forget and you're like, oh, and then you get home and a day later it comes back or something, so what is that something that you would recommend?
Yes, 110%. It is one of the tasks I provide to my clients, and they come out, you know what, I'm feeling this and that. Truthfully, your symptoms can tell us 10 times much more than anything, and it's your story from it. So, what's happening, what's occurring? Utilize your cell phone, go in your notes section. If you like to have a calendar, pick up a calendar, a piece of paper, and a pen, write it down from it. Write down what the day was. If you know where it is, like with your cycle, if you're still having your cycle, identify that. That can give us so much information, and it's powerful information as well, too. So writing it, you can
Mm-hmm.
identify trends like, oh, like this always happens, this time of the month, or this happens
Oh,
here
true.
from it. So it's
It's,
important to write it down.
I'm so glad you said that too, because it's so crazy that like I'm at the big old age of 44 that I'm just now being like, oh, that's why I'm emotional, because it's about time for and I never would have, I never linked the two. I
Right.
just thought that certain days I just was feeling worse, or just like depressed or whatever, and just realizing like, oh no, I'm just more sensitive because
Mhm.
maybe it's that time of the month coming around or something like that, which is, I still find that wild. And I think that for a lot of women, particularly women of color, let's just, just speaking from my own experience, and I was raised by my mom, a single mother for quite some time, and she was a nurse, a registered nurse. So caregivers and medical professionals can probably be. So, and I'm probably generalizing this, but maybe you can shed some light from your perspective. I feel like they can be even worse about taking care of themselves and getting professional, support, because they feel like they already should know, or they already kind of know how to treat certain things. But I feel like, and then on top of that, with my mom, for instance, she was taking care of my grandmother as she was deteriorating, and she was taking care of us, and she's a single mom. So just to bring it back to like what I'm saying, I feel like a lot of women, especially single mothers or even just mothers in general, or wives, have taken on a very masculine role. And I hate to say, masculine, feminine, or whatever, but I'm just saying that they kind of had to deny their womanhood and maybe they didn't have to, but they did, they denied their womanhood, their cycles, and recognizing those things because they, like you've talked about, are carrying so much of the weight of the family. So kind of two questions for you. Do you see that medical professionals, particularly women, have a harder time going to their appointments and talking to their doctor because they feel like they should already know everything? Is that something you see?
It is something that's common and things from it, and it's super individualized as well too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
think about it. Like, even with as being as a nurse, right? We know we need to go to the bathroom and things from it, but we're taking care of patients, we're taking care of we're taking care of our kids. So we're holding
Mm.
that, putting the things from it. So it's like we know that we're doing things, but oftentimes we like when we become a nurse, I'm from it, we're doing it with our heart, our compassion to care for others. And sometimes we're putting that care of others before ourselves. And that takes an opportunity of a mindset shift for you individually, for those around you, your organization, your job, your family, and to be like, you know what? It's okay that I take care of X, Y, and Z person, but I've got to understand how to fill my cup first. And that comes, especially when you're speaking from a culture standpoint. From a culture of Black women, we take care of others. From it, others come before us. But now it's an opportunity for us to shift that mindset to really think about both can be done and things from it. We can't fuel for others what we can't do for ourselves. So we take that moment and to shift, it is something that I have routinely implemented into my daily practice from it of getting up early, of having my time, my one-on-one time with
Mm-hmm.
God and the Bible, that deep breath.
Amen.
Sometimes just sitting in quiet from it. When me trying to figure out what I'm going to wear in the closet, but it's that mind, but it's that opportunity to sit and to be with that. And sometimes we can feel that it has to be written in or it has to be at a certain time. Sometimes it can be in the car while you're driving and music down and then you're just in that zone, but it's shifting and taking care of yourself from that. And that comes from that mindset shift. It comes from resetting things that we learn within our household from it. Our moms, our grandmothers, our family, aunts, uncles, amazing. Like, ooh, shoulders that they, if I can just sit on their shoulder and things from it,
Yes.
they have taught us so much and so much resiliency and so much fuel and power and things from there. And that where it gets in what we mentioned before is about, okay, what's normal versus what's not normal. Just because something is common, we see it happen in our family, see it happened in our community scene from it. We get accustomed to that. But just because something is common doesn't mean that it's normal or that it's thriving. With
Mm-hmm.
labs, when we get back to talking about our labs, those are built on
Yes.
population averages and things from it. So when you go to school, did your mom want you to be average? Did you want to be above average? And things
That's
from it.
right. There you go.
Think
That's a
about that.
that's a great question. Yeah, that's
Think
a
about
great
that with your,
question.
yeah,
Wow.
with your labs and things with that and how you're feeling. Is it okay that you felt tired and fatigued today from it? What's going around? Let's take a check, a self check from that. And one of the things you had mentioned beforehand is that, like, oh my gosh, was it the week before my cycle or not? Our symptoms, our hormones are like a roller coaster and things from it. And when we look at labs are a point in time. It's a snapshot. So things may look normal at that time, but that doesn't mean that it's optimal. With the
That's
our
so
body,
good.
yes, our body can be struggling long before normals. Our labs look abnormal from them, right? So
Ooh,
it
that's so
gets into,
true.
yes, like
So
writing things down, thinking about it. Like let's see what that trend is happening is going on.
yes, I love that you said that. That yeah, it's not going to necessarily show up in the data, and we're such a data driven society these
Mhm.
days, but that as and then that's kind of where I was getting at with our feminine energy. It's kind of woo woo, but I mean there is something to say about discernment and about
Mhm.
intuition and about just trusting what our body, how we feel, over what is being shown, or like you said, what is the average, what the average or normal conclusion is to a set of symptoms. And so, how do you, Dr. Misher, uh, how do you listen differently to some of your patients? If they're telling you, if you are seeing, okay, the labs look normal. I mean, you've already distinguished that you're not looking for normal. You're looking for optimal.
Mhm.
But is what kinds of leading questions may you ask if someone's saying, "Look, I really just don't feel good. Something doesn't seem right," even if the normal, maybe the typical path of labs is showing up normal. How would you lean into the next set of questions, or how would you guide that?
Yes, the most powerful piece that I embrace when I'm speaking with clients, as well, I encourage others is being able to share your story. Then, when you come into your provider's visit, you should be doing the majority of the talking from it. It's an opportunity for you to share what's
Okay.
happening and things from it. So, I listen with the intent from it, not the intent to respond, but to fully listen, that active listening from them. How are their symptoms? All right. Because sometimes we're saying, like, oh, it's just stress. Oh, you're going through the change, or this is just part of aging, or no, you're just doing too much and that you just got to keep pushing through. It's about listening about what's occurring because things are shifting and happening before you can actually realize it. And then once you have that good foundation of like what your experience is, how is it affecting your daily life from them? Or maybe you're not sleeping that great at night, or this anxiety just pops out of nowhere and I have no idea where it came from. Like I didn't invite it, but it showed up and it hasn't gone where anywhere. And I
Mm,
want to figure out what that is. Um,
yeah.
or oftentimes I'll get, you know what, Shakeeka, I just don't feel like myself. And we dive into that. What is that? What does that look like to you? It's like, for me, it was like, I didn't know who I was anymore. It's like, oh my, I had to reintroduce myself to me. Things that I was handling at ease 5, 10 years ago, things from it
Mm-hmm.
didn't come as normal and from it. So oftentimes you
Mm,
can't put your finger on it of what's happening. And though that loss of words, that loss of insight about yourself,
mm.
talking about heart, like that hits your soul from
It
it as
does,
well.
yeah.
And so it's really getting into understanding like what's happening from that. What does that look like? From it, how is my mood? How is my energy levels? Has my diet changed or not changed from it? Do I have hair shedding from it? Has my stamina gone from it? Has it changed? My get up and go, want to do things, shortness of breath. It's a rhyme of things, but it's truly getting back into
Mm-hmm.
listening to what your experience is and how you can have additional support.
Mm. This is so important. And how is there a way to know if what you're experiencing is due to maybe being stretched too thin, or if there is actually a biological or physiological situation happening versus a mental block? How would you go about helping someone to distinguish that?
Yes, and all of that is absolutely okay and valid. And from it, they all can actually exist together. From it, sometimes they can feel like it's a big yarn ball and everything's all tangled up. From it, and you're trying to pull out the different strings, but they're all tied together. That same exact thing happens. Looking at your labs, looking at your symptoms. When we talked about before, hey, I want to listen and things what's happening. Your symptoms and your story can tell me a lot from it, what direction that we want to go in.
Mm-hmm.
Labs, always like to say, labs are a point in time. It's that snapshot that we talked about.
Okay, it's a
Most,
snapshot.
uh-huh, because everything is up and down. So it's, I'm just taking a picture of what your labs look like that day that you had it. Now, 2 minutes later, your labs gonna look totally different. And then I want you to take that
Interesting.
and
It's
understand it as
interesting to
well.
think of it that way.
Yes, it's just
Hmm.
a snapshot in time, but it can give us valuable information. It can let us
Okay.
know, is this perimenopause that I'm going through from a alignment, or is it something I need to look deeper into my thyroid, or maybe it's my iron. My iron is low from it, or there's a ton of things that can be happening there. But getting a baseline lab can let's open that door. Now, when I always call the patient about getting a baseline lab, just because it comes back and it says it's normal doesn't mean that it's optimal from it. So it's
That's right.
diving into understanding what that optimal looks like for you. Because oftentimes I say this lab looks normal. We don't, it's within the range here. But if you don't feel that great from it, like you don't have that mojo back, that matters more than this normal lab. There's underlying pieces. Remember we talked about
Mm-hmm.
beforehand that our labs can take a long time to catch up to our symptoms from that. We need
Yes.
to address that from it as well. The other piece you mentioned, is it my environment? Yes, we do. We do take a step back and to look at about prioritizing. Are we prioritizing our own individual needs before others from it? Are we
Mm-hmm.
juggling 3 and 4 different roles at the same time? And we need to take a step back and think about, okay, what are the priorities? What do I need to level set right now from those? We talk a lot about deep breathing from exercising. I'm a Caritas coach of care and science with deep breathing and just really focusing on and just reshifting like your mindset is so important and so key, and that really calms down the nervous system and really resetting the nervous from it. So we're not taught those skills beforehand. Sometimes we knew these things
No,
ahead of time.
a lot of people don't. A lot of people aren't.
Yes,
And you wait. You call that Caritas?
Caritas, it's care
What
and
is
science
this?
and things from it. It's built off our nursing theorist called Jane Watson. With it, it's amazing. With it, it really goes into a lot of energy, a lot of deep breathing. It's an exercise that I like to
Love
focus
that.
on. Yes, from a resetting, especially even when you're one on one. I encourage, like when you're coming in to see me as a provider or any other provider, putting your feet flat on the floor and like really getting into that internal deep breathing, slow, that box counting, like, oh my gosh, like it can just reset everything within there. Our cortisol levels and high. There's so much value that's brought into that with it as well. So it can
Mm-hmm.
be those like, yes, maybe it's something mental that's going on, but maybe that I just need to take some deep breaths and reset, or maybe I need to. It's a therapist that I need to go and see from it. It's that
Mm-hmm.
individualized approach, and it gets back into social media. Here we are now. Like we compare ourselves. Like, oh my gosh, such is doing this. I should be doing the same thing. Or they had this.
Lord,
It's
that's so
no.
I had like I've been going through some deep letting go healing, processes, from the social media thing and just from showing up and being visible. And as you are too, you are a provider that's visible, which is we're starting to see more medical practitioners and experts like yourself and medical doctors to show up online, but there's not very many. So you're really kind of pioneering the space as far as like, talking, speaking to people and sharing your expertise, some may say for free, but obviously you're investing in the community and you're being visible so that you can help people. And then obviously at that point, if people, you are informing people, which is really a public service, I like to call it. And then of course they can feel comfortable that, hey, this is a doctor that I can trust to, see. In fact, I'm sitting here thinking like, I need, like, do you take Blue Cross Blue Shield? do you take Blue Cross Blue Shield? I can't remember if you said you did. I think maybe you're working on, I can't remember. Which, do you take any insurances right now or?
No insurances.
I'm like,
no insurances right now. Anything from it. Really, I've been able to not take an insurance allows me to really to see the individual for an entire person, for the whole piece of it. Insurance can put a lot of constraints and things. There's a lot of variations from it where you have to work within a specific guidelines from it, or you have to wait until things are abnormal before you can intervene with those. And it really ties back in to that. Also being able to put a plug in there when you were talking about like letting it go and those things from it. If you have not read like Let Them Theory from him, it's the book by Mel Roberts, Let Him Go, Let It Go Theory.
Yeah, Mel Robbins.
Yes. And it's on Audible from it as well too. It's an amazing book for everyone.
Yes.
From it, of being able like what's in your control from it, and being able to let that and be able to access your own actions with your energy, and that pressure, the pressure where you can put on ourselves and others, like amazing from it. So that's a good segue, a book that really to put on your reading list if you haven't read it already.
I haven't read it, but I do like Mel Robbins, and she's been getting a lot of flack lately because people just always want to try to find something to be negative about. But it just makes sense. It makes sense. It can feel, and that's why this is important too. Especially for women, I believe, and especially for women that are around my age, of all ages. But anyone can benefit from this conversation because you start young. You should start taking care of yourself and being in tune with yourself. Yeah, if I would have understood then the things I know now, Lord, I'm just grateful and lucky and blessed. And hallelujah, I count my blessings every day that my body has been a thug life over here, man. My ride or die, because I am blessed. The way I've treated my body has, my body knows I love you because it's been here for me, and I realized because I have addiction in my family, addiction runs rampant in my family. I'm more on the paternal side, but I took it all on, you know what I mean? And when I say paternal side, I mean through the men in my family usually. Actually on both sides, actually. Alcoholism, drug abuse. And I'm sure that those things affect women even more differently. So I know that I'm blessed that I was able to have the eyes to see it and to, break that generational curse of addiction as a woman. But if I would have understood not only the physical ramifications, but understood how the mind and body connection, as you're talking about, how that makes such a difference. Because it's like, truly, if only we understood that, that all of those emotions and holding them in does affect us, which is crazy. So I would love to hear. Before we go there, though, we did have a question actually from the audience. So
Yes.
You're my first guest with the audience question. So I'm excited. Let's see here. So here it is right here. What are your top 3 recommendations to help partners introduce the conversation if they suspect their loved one may have changes going on? Ooh, that's a good question. So they can be both empathetic, but also share their specific concerns, especially when the window for conceiving is closing. Wow, that's a layered question.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. It gets back to what we just discussed of feeling supported and things from it and grounded from it as well. When I always, like to talk with clients and their partners as well, lead with curiosity, not correction. At least from them. What does that mean from them? So what not to say? Maybe it's just hormones from her. You need to push through. Instead, state things like, I've noticed you seem more tired lately. How are you feeling? That validates what you see from it, but also how they're feeling. So it's that connection. It matters so much because as women, from it, we could already feel misunderstood, maybe feel unseen, unheard from them. When you lead with curiosity, it says, I see you and I'm here for you. So it's that validation, and you open them up to be able to see from those. Especially in our culture, from it. Sometimes as Black women, we are often expected to handle it, from it, to push through with those. Partners can help us.
We really are.
Yes. So our partners can, and even it be a partner, it can also be your children, your sister, your mom, your aunt.
Family member.
Can really help make that space for vulnerability without judgment. And that's the important piece as well. I also think it's important to validate the experience without diagnosing them. So don't tie a diagnosis, even if you done Googled it, Dr. Google and things from it.
I think you're a narcissist. No,
that's right. No, at all things from it. You don't have anything to prove and things from it.
That's right.
The experience to be real and to be authentic from there as well. And it matters a lot because, labs may don't always reflect that somebody's body's feeling anything. Validation lowers that stress, opens up the opportunity for more conversation and impact in our hormones as well, too. So encourage someone we talked about before, attend the appointments. I'm from it. Like, hey, is it okay if I go to the appointment too? Where you feel like, we can partner this together. I want to be here for you. We're going to learn this together. This is two-way street, bi-directional. Be supportive, helping to track symptoms and things from it. Maybe those symptoms that I have can be too much and things from me. But you know what? Can I partner with you to write it down for you? So when I notice it, I can write, and we can come together and to collaborate from that. Sharing responsibilities with it is really identifying that this is a partnership. As like, how can I support you in this season? What does that support look like? How I want to support you may not be how they want to receive that support.
That part
from them. And with those, this is the season, especially when you're thinking about like it's our fertility, declining during that time frame, because then we can have that clock. I should have had a child by this time frame, or what this looks like, or I've been with this person and everybody else is asking me, oh, so when are you going to have a baby, or when is this going to happen, and things from that, and that can feel overwhelming. First of all, everyone else, like, don't ask that question. Anything from it. In their business, and things from it. And everybody's journey is different. And
that's right.
Support as well. And that's an intimate conversation. Even though we make it public, we think if you meet this milestone, the X, Y, and Z needs to be done. And it's reframing our own individual mindset and the mindset of those around you. From them. And then above all, like, see them for who they are, hear them for what they are feeling, not what you think they're feeling or what they should feel, and support them how they want to they be supported. And trust the
Mm-hmm.
process. It's not a light switch that you can cut off and on and like, oh, you're ready to go. Or we had this one conversation. It may be many conversations as well.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, this was a question that one of my clients had asked this past week. And one of the things we developed a script together from that. And what the script
Okay.
was like, it was a partner who came in and was asking questions and like how to support with it, because they need
Oh,
support with them. And it was like, how can we come up with this supportive from those? And it was really been able to validate. I've been learning about this. I've been learning about perimenopause. I've been learning about the fertility. That provides insight that you're in this from it. Like you're looking
mm-hmm.
at some things from it and you understand how it can affect their energy, their mood, their sleep from those. So you want to know how to support them. And you open that door up from them. How can I support you in this pathway that you're looking to
Yeah.
from that, which is important and key. It's an amazing question.
That was an amazing question, and so I want to thank Dr.
Yeah,
Kimberly. Dr. Kimberly, this was a real question that was posed to her this weekend, so she
love
really
it.
appreciated
Yes.
that question. So make sure these comments, she's going to share this video with them, and these comments also will be in the on the, because this was on LinkedIn. So definitely, if you're not already connected with Dr. Kimberly, then perhaps you can connect after this in the LinkedIn comments. So, and that's what the space is for, is to have these conversations. So thank you so much for that question, because that was a great question. And I'm sure that people are facing these types of challenges, obviously. And how do you bring that up? How do you bring it up on either side? Because perhaps as the woman, I mean, it can kind of go either way too, and as the woman who might be concerned that and your answer goes both ways, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's about being supportive and showing up for them from it,
Yes,
and how they want that, and to be perceived as well.
absolutely. And so another question that I have for you is, how do hormonal shifts really play into and impact cognition, mood, and emotional regulation? Even, Lord, I know we need this one. And then why are these types of symptoms often brushed aside, do you believe? And what should we be doing how do we even check? How do we know the difference?
Yes, it's such amazing questions. It makes you think of, my hormones are fine, but I don't feel like myself. Remember we talked about beforehand.
Yeah.
The mood swings, the anxiety, the decrease in libido, sleep issues, irritability, or just even feeling disconnected. Like, oh, who are you? Like we haven't met, and it's still in my body. With those. In perimenopause, in midlife, our hormones are fluctuating daily with it. It
Mhm.
lines back to what we talked about, like the symptoms that you're having, being able to align those with your cycles, if you're still having your cycles, from a pinpoint in, because that can give us a lot of insight of what's occurring. The estrogen dropping, progesterone rising, as they cross, things look and feel differently from those. What remember, labs catch just that moment of time. So looking at when your labs were drawn, those results versus when you are where you are within your cycle are key and important as well. Estrogen can be normal, but it can still be unstable from it. So if having that balance, that coordination between estrogen and progesterone are key. Progesterone often drops first, which we can have those symptoms that we just explained from it as well,
Mm.
where your estrogen looks great, but we need a little bit more support with the progesterone of looking at maybe it's foods they're eating or bringing in supplements, or you want to go down hormone, therapy. There's a variety of things, and it's not a one size fit all for the.
Okay.
And it can be, we may start with lifestyle things. We may start with supplements and then move up. You get to determine that and looking at all of the options that's available for you. It's really
Mm-hmm.
getting down to that root cause from it.
Mm-hmm.
The root cause is often there's a hormone imbalance and not a hormonal absence from it.
Oh, okay.
Understanding where that comes from and where it's located. Normal means like numbers look okay. They're fine from what we consider fine in traditional medicine versus optimal. We're looking for how you feel emotionally grounded and connected. Like I feel great and from it all the time with those. I feel like myself, which is super important and key with those. So understanding like where you are with getting those labs and that follow up. It's not, I mean, we mentioned before, it's that light switch on and off. It's not coming out. So this can take
Yeah.
multiple appointments. And I always like to,
Yeah.
put that out there. It's not a quick fix. And we don't want it to be a quick fix. We want to get down to the root cause of what's happening and being able to maintain that as well.
Yeah.
So this can happen over several different appointments from it and follow through and adjustments. I mean, a huge component. Just because we start something doesn't mean that's where we're going to end. You're going to come back. Shakeeka, this didn't work so well, and things from it.
Yes.
Or I have this symptom from it, or this felt great from it as well. Doing that stair-stepper approach and that collaboration and open communication with your provider, with your support team, with you at home is important and key.
That is, and yes, it's like anything, whether it's business or whether it's personal, being willing to test and try and see what works, seeing what brings you passion. Maybe you're, and I'm not even going to try to diagnose it, but I'm just saying, I'm not trying to diagnose anything, but I'm just saying even when sometimes your life is lackluster, maybe trying a painting class, not saying that that's what it is, but it sounds like you do explore the questions it sounds like because you said earlier, you want to try, if it's possible, if it looks like a good place to start is lifestyle change, that you're going to offer those suggestions or recommendations first before you're just going to jump right into some sort of medication path. Is that?
It's a shared decision. So we're going to talk about it together and things from it. And oftentimes we're doing a mix of things from it. Because oftentimes you have been to your provider's appointment several times from it, and maybe you haven't seen and heard. So this has been a buildup along the way as well. So it's important to kind of come together and see what best fits you and where you are within it. And we're ruling out, okay, because things like I'm tired, I'm sluggish, I'm just not feeling it great. My progesterone low, or I've got something going on with my thyroid, or maybe it's my iron. Those were those labs comes in. They're being able to differentiate. Okay, what's happening? What's occurring? From it. Let's take a deeper dive into that. So we may do something that's lifestyle from it, but also add in a supplement. Or we may say, hey, we're going to add in. You get to determine that, and that's what's the important piece of it. Is that this is your body. This is how you feel from it. We can provide all type of recommendations from it and giving you the rationale and things from it, but you get to decide that. And just because you make a decision today doesn't mean you have to stick with it. We may go back to that.
That's good to know.
And things as well too. You're not stuck in a place from that.
Yes. Okay. So I would like to know, what exactly is perimenopause? Because I've heard that word a lot, and I'm 44, but I feel like I'm 17. But honestly, that is true. You know what I mean? I'm not even gonna hold you on that. I do feel like I'm young, and I feel like I feel young is what I mean. I feel like I don't feel different than I did before. However, it does feel like I feel more of a pressure of responsibility. But then I wonder also, I'm like, okay, is that truly the case as well? And then also, and this is kind of, and I'm not asking for I'm not trying to get free advice here, but, but I'm just saying there may be people that are kind of in this space too. Cause I'm like, okay, I feel, and I'm great. Like I said before, I'm grateful to feel young and vibrant. I feel capable. I am capable, everything like that. However, but then, and I'm like, I wonder how much of it, and also I did used to have an addiction issue to drugs and alcohol. That was my coping mechanism before. So I'm wondering how much of me noticing how I'm feeling and maybe being not being able to sleep well. I wonder how much of it and how I think it's probably it comes back to labs too. But I'm like, I wonder how much of it is my age. I wonder how much of it is because I'm experiencing life in a brand new way than I ever have before. Cause I'm actually not masking, or numbing and etc. Or maybe there is some sort of perimenopausal situation going on, but how would I know?
Yes, I was like all of the above. So first, let's start out with the definition of perimenopause is.
Okay.
So perimenopause is the transition before menopause. I'm from it. That's when our hormones are that roller coaster. They begin to fluctuate, especially our estrogen or progesterone. But testosterone can play a huge part into that as well too.
Okay.
It can start in our late 30s, early 40s, but for Black women, it can be even earlier than that as well. Before your periods, stop, or even before they're irregular, you can have those symptoms that can occur. It's a time when their body isn't breaking down, but it's shifting from it. Your body is shifting
Okay.
at the molecular level, and you start to may feel some of those symptoms. Perimenopause can show up as irregular cycles, mood changes, fatigue, brain fog. Like, what did I walk in this room for? Like, what did I? What's in here?
Okay. Well, let me go ahead and check. Let me check that one. All right, then.
Sleep struggles, weight changes, low libido, hot flashes, anxiety, just not feeling like yourself from it. And yes, it's all during a time when your labs can look normal and all those things are occurring and going on as your body is shifting from those. As women of color, we experience those symptoms earlier from them. And although we know that we experience those symptoms earlier, we are still dismissed more quickly, even though we know that that's present there. And we carry on a lot more stress than others as well and expect it to push through. So we can see these symptoms and these things that's going on, but we're pushing through. We want to get through this. We know we have our list of things we need to get done. Other people are depending on us from those. And I always wanted you to shift that mindset that this season deserves support and not silence, because we can be going through a lot of this on our own from it, not sharing with others with those. So perimenopause isn't a problem. It's a natural process that we all are going to go through. All of us are females, they're born a female, we're going to go through it. And everyone else around us are going to experience it as well too. This is a community event from it. It's that transitional period. And during this period, you deserve the care, your body deserves that honor and from it, your culture, your voice, all be all out from it. And it's one of those, my voice, the reason why I show up, I post and I'm, talking and, speaking on that is that we learn so much about our cycles, our periods when they come in from it. We're often learning from it what not to do, not to get pregnant, endings from it, but then we don't hear anything else about what's going on.
That's so true. That's deep.
It's about bringing that awareness from
it.
That awareness with a voice, because it's always being present. It never went away, at least from it. It's, she's going through a change. She has those hot flashes, or mama's just irritable during this time. From it, it's always being present, but we're naming it with intention and with respect as an individual woman, but for all of us around us as well too.
Yes. How do we? Well, I guess you kind of answered that. You already answered that, because I was going to say, how do we support our mothers and our the matriarchs of our family through those things too? Because now, like, the more you're talking about it, and the more I'm reflecting, like even with my grandmothers, and actually, that actually does bring an important question, I think, because I feel like we're so what a great time to be alive, to have access to all this information, because it is a Black and colored woman blessing right now. Like, it's a revival where we're like, oh, we protect, I'm protecting my peace, what I'm saying? Like, I'm not playing that role anymore, but God bless our mothers and our grandmothers and what they had to hold and carry for so long. And like, I was talking to you about that a little bit before we started, and it's like, how, I would love to encourage our older family members, our women that are older, to embrace, like, let them know, like, you're safe now, and I say that to my mom all the time, and she kind of laughs because I'm being dramatic, and because I'm like being all dramatic, like, you're safe now, but I'm like, it's actually like real. I really believe that is helpful to hear to our our older family members. But I wonder, is there, And this might be a strange question, but is it ever too late for at any age to where you can take back your power and your self-care and maybe, slow down maybe some of the negative effects of neglect? Is there, is it always worth it to try?
Always, always, always. There's never a too late. Things from it. You still got lungs, air in your lungs, that you're breathing, that passion. What you do for today is helping for tomorrow and the next day, no matter how old you are. Yes, the earlier you start, the more longevity that you have. Who can't say we can't start it now? 55, 65, 80, 95, and things from it. Start now. And things from it. That improvement is there and it's key. And it brings up with that conversation of having the conversation and opening those doors. Especially you have your mom that's there, your grandmother, your aunts, uncles. Sit down, talk with them about the experiences. When I mentioned uncles, men go through what we call andropause and things is going as well too. So they have things that they're going through as well. So being able to open up and have those conversations now more than ever, and be able to share that with it, because we always feel like, I knew something was changing, but I didn't know what it was. And now we're opened up where everyone is talking about it from it. And it's okay. I came from a generation, and within our culture is that what was in your household stayed in your household, good, bad, and indifferent. You didn't talk about it. Things are bad. You didn't go out and you're talking about those things. And it's having to go back and reshift those mindsets and things from it. That is, so now you don't have to have everybody in all of your business and everything from those.
Right.
It's an opportunity for you that discernment of who I can talk to, who's within that circle. But it's an opportunity for you to have those conversations with your family and with it. And it's just opening up those doors from that. It doesn't mean that you're going to have that same exact experience, because this perimenopause journey is so unique and so individual from it. What you're going through, I can be going through something totally different.
That's
but
right.
We share common ground from it. We're women from it. We are going through some type of change and we shift it. So having that circle from it, key, like high five and being able to support. When you're talking about being able to slow down, yes, our nervous system been telling us to slow down for far long before. And now we're listening. Oftentimes, my nervous system is done. They done threw so many red and white flags up, and we just keep pushing through. Oh, I still got a little bit in me. Like, let me just keep putting. Let me get that cat nap for 30 minutes, and I'll be good to go. No, sis, you need you need that 7 to 8 hour time frame. The rest, let your body heal things from those. We thrive in community. Things from it.
I love that. So true.
Together, we cheer each other on. Me and my sister were just talking about it yesterday on our Apple Watch. We see my mom she's been popping up on there. Now, Mom, if you're watching this, yes, go sis.
Yeah.
I knew it. Like, she's got this award and things that just popped up and on there. Like that, like, okay.
It feels good to you. It feels good, doesn't it, to know your mom's in the game?
Yeah, so she's out there stepping. I need to get out there. That motivates me. I done been off, and I need to get out there. I got to keep up with her. Community is important, and you get to decide like what that community looks like for you. But you can thrive that competitive and that competition of being like, okay, girl, like, let me see how many steps you got today, or let's do this, or like, wait a minute. How many times did you put yourself on the front burner? Did you go get your nails done? Did you go get your hair done? Or maybe you went outside and you sat on the porch with nothing else that's going to go on.
That's right.
You get to encourage and motivate each other. And that's the most important thing.
That's the blessing.
It is. Like we could talk medications and supplements and all that. But those connections that you have with yourself, with the higher power, with your friends, your family, that's what fuels the soul from it. That's what gives you back everything, you know, from that. So it gets back to that connection, and like that's the important piece of it. But you can do everything else. But if you don't have that connection and that grounding, even if it's with yourself, everything else can be obsolete.
That is so true. And that's so important. And it can be difficult, I find, for older Black women sometimes, at least, I mean, I can only speak from my experience and my family. And I'm like, I realize that I'm like, and thank God they have each other at this point, and I feel like they spend more time with each other, but I feel like we can isolate um, sometimes. And so, so and I've been talking about this a lot on social media lately, as I've been, um, processing and forgiving myself and being more in tune with myself and my health, and just saying like, hey, um, we need to, or it's an honor to be able to be there for your family as they are aging, as they're getting older, um, or sick, at any age, because that is important. And it that's why community is important, because we're all, like you said, we're all going to go through those moments where we need each other. And so now is a great time to do the inner healing work and quote unquote, get over yourself, or, I mean, I say get over yourself, and be intentional about how you treat your family, how you include your family, and be willing to go a step above and beyond to create those, bonds and relationships. I feel like, especially after COVID and everything, like, families that maybe people that used to spend more time out kind of isolated and kind of stayed that way too. So I feel like, and then in my family, my uncle that used to host all of our big holiday parties, he passed away from COVID. And so it changed the connection with the family, so I'm glad that you brought that up, as far as, having that community. And it doesn't have to be your blood community either. It can be, in fact, that's a great segue into your community that you have, Dr. Misher. So
Yes.
I would love for you to talk about that, about the blessing of the community that you have. I joined one of your communities, and to talk about the different experiences, different community opportunities that you have for people, because that is important, and I want them to know someone that they can trust to welcome them into their community.
Yes, the midlife reset from it. It's my school community that I have, and is such an important. And it was built on exactly what we're talking about. From those is that connection, whether it's with your family, it can even be with your work. We spend the majority of our time at work and our work hours and things from it, whether it's virtual, face to face, from it having those connections, from those. And sometimes it's easier to speak to other people that you may not know as one-on-one about it, with see how things are going out. And that's what the midlife reset is. It's a school community. It's an opportunity for us to communicate with others across the world. You literally, everyone's in different states and different locations. From it, they're also in different pathways throughout their perimenopause, postmenopause. Even some that's still in fertility and trying those as well too. But it's an opportunity to share common ground and to learn from one another. Post a lot of different micro lessons from those breathing techniques,
Mm-hmm.
sharing best practices. And it's a quick piece of that. I may not have time to give someone a phone call or to sit with them 30 minutes and from it, but I can get on school and connect with someone virtually, from a
Okay.
comment on their post, or read this
Yes.
reset that I didn't know that I needed. That this was posted just for me that day, from it, to read through that and digest it. And the way
Mm-hmm.
the community is set up is that, yes, you have the opportunity to post and to like, and to different comments and things from those, but it can also be passive, to where you're there and you're reading through things, from it, and you comment when you're ready, or you post something when you're ready. Um,
Right.
because it's the value of gaining the knowledge. Knowledge is power, at least from those. When you can, during this process of transition, we could feel so isolated. So it's
Mm-hmm.
important to find your community. that's reliable, that's giving you some valid evidence-based information, just not just shooting you any type of things
No,
from this.
and a lot of people do that online. Like a lot of people are scrolling TikTok or, Instagram, whatever, trying to find solutions or, and they're hearing 5 different ways of doing things.
Yes, it's important to find those reliable sources from it as well too, and to grow. And that's what the Midlife Reset community is. It's a community that I'm looking forward to the continued growth and development and everything that I hear. Like when I see a client and like, oh, like what this and what things that I'm going through, myself and in each other as different DMs, but it's in a safe space. It's a community environment. From it as well. So you can find it on the school app under Midlife Reset. We can put the link in as well too, but just an opportunity.
We'll put the link in we'll put on all platforms. I'll make sure to grab the link from Dr. Misher, and I'll make sure to put that in everywhere. And then you also can put that in the comments and respond to the comments that have been made on LinkedIn. So you can share those as well so that people can join your group. So that is amazing because it is important. It's important. We live in a time right now where if you can be preventive and we have all this information and we take care of ourselves, then we can avoid some of the pitfalls that maybe our ancestors have, and our family members have suffered with because for lack of information. And that's why knowledge and learning and information is powerful. And we have that opportunity. And now we don't only just have that opportunity, but we have the opportunity to be in community with a doctor, nowadays. And with Thryva Wellness, we have that opportunity to be on the front end of the community that you're building to create that safe space for women to have those conversations. And I'm in the community, folks, and I will let you know that Dr. Misher is very helpful, very thoughtful in that community. She shares a lot of information. She is definitely very engaged in that community and just poses questions to make you have to stop and think. And, I love that you do that. And it's very clear that you're very compassionate and very passionate about the support that you are offering. And, this is an unprecedented for I think, for healthcare, to have someone just sharing that. Now, obviously she's not answering any, personal medical questions or anything like that, but she's just helping you to start that process of thinking about yourself. Is that an accurate way of saying that?
It is. You're spot on. From it gives you an opportunity of self-reflection, but also, preparation. How to prepare for your provider visits, how to feel, more confident and revived, or those pausing and opportunity, from it to stop and think about it. Yesterday, my personal reading was all about wisdom, and wanting to be in that drive, like to go, like I, want those fast results, from it. Yes, obviously,
like a go-getter type, hustler type, but I've had to learn to just, like you're saying, like I've had to learn to just actually it's one day at a time, girl.
It is one day, one moment at a time to really stop and to really think about that and to reset. And it's getting back to that nervous system and that calming, and that we don't have to have our superwoman cape on, no matter how much we want to wear it, how much has been passed down to us. We don't always have to have it on with those. And when we have it on, we can have it on with a group of people that we are helping and building one another from it. And that's the foundation of a community is that building, is that having a solid foundation, that we are in this together, that I'm learning from you, you're learning from me, we're learning from each other, we're bringing new ideas and things in but we're also holding each other accountable. I'm not going to let you fall, at least from those. I'm not going to let you fall on your face and or make a left turn when we should have made a right turn, because we're in this together. And that's the important piece of having that support across the board.
That's so important. Thank you so much, Dr. Misher, and for your words of wisdom and for opening up and offering that your beautiful space in your community where you just create, like you said, that space for self-reflection. That in of itself is worth more than gold. And right now your community's free. Who knows how long that might be, so folks, you better jump in on it, because let's just face it, we do live in capitalistic America. But and honestly, it's incredibly valuable. We all get to, and I think it's important, and I think we're going to see this happen more often, is people are going to move, we probably need to move away from consuming so much and have, but why are we on social media? So we can have that connection, but why not have a deeper community where you can actually do the self-care and actually be in a space where you can communicate with people who that's your focus. Like, you're not going to accidentally stumble upon the worst news on earth, just the worst breaking news on earth that just came up, and it's going to stress you out when there's nothing you can really do about it at the moment. And I think it's important that we, stay aware of what's going on. But this could be a whole nother 5-hour conversation about how those things are affecting us and our bodies as well. But, you don't have to do that. You can still be focused on yourself by following an expert in menopause and in women's health, like Dr. Shakeeka Misher. So thank you so much. And I love the name Thryva Wellness. Can you tell us quickly how you came up with that? Because I love it.
Yes. So Thryva, being the basis of thriving and things from it. Thriving is our standard. From it, it's not secondary as well. So that's what Thryva Wellness is built on. It's always going to be about thriving, self-care, realization, support. We can often put it on the back burner, and not with Thryva. It's right front and center in things from it. So we're always going to be reshifting with it, and it really helps to reshift our mindset and build on that. Well.
It sure does, yeah, because we're not just surviving, we thriving. We ain't in survival no more, we thriving. So I absolutely love that. Thank you so much, Dr. Misher, for holding this conversation with such care and clarity. And what stands out most is this: we are wise, and our body is not betraying us when we're not feeling well. It's communicating something to us, and we need to listen first. It all starts with self. And then we go to the experts like you. So everyone, and especially for any woman listening, especially those navigating cognitive changes, physical shifts, or emotional overwhelm, you're not imagining this, and you are not alone. Aging is not a failure of your body. Just like Dr. Misher said, it's a transition that deserves support, education, compassion, and attention. You are allowed to ask questions, you are allowed to advocate for yourself, and you are allowed to feel whole rather than just functional. So again, make sure you watch the space. We'll get those links to Dr. Misher's community, so you can, just go ahead and plug in and get connected with Dr. Misher and be a part of her wisdom and a part of her community. So this conversation is part of 5-Star Conversations in the Sun City, where we spotlight the people shaping health, healing, leadership, and connection across the borderland. I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for listening and for trusting yourself enough to seek understanding. And again, thank you so much, Dr. Misher. I appreciate your time today.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll see everyone at the next 5-Star Conversation.